clinical trial glossary. Okay, this is like a summary of all these clinical trials since last 2 weeks what we said about clinical trials related thing. Okay, so yeah, our academy is like Vigilance-Master Academy. Then we are offering 8 courses already. This is the third one we are dealing. Pharmacovigilance, Metrovigilance, CDM, Clinical Data Management, Clinical Research, Aggregate Reporting, Regulatory Affairs, MICs, and Medical Writing things. Okay, we are not only telling about these topics and all, we are helping you through placement support like assistance, certifications upon completion of courses while doing some courses also, pharmacovigilance and whatever it may be we are doing. Upon completing that, we'll help you to complete some certifications on that. We'll help you in the mock interview sessions along with the HR interviews in the real-time perspectives from experts, and we are helping all the students from our batch to ensure and making that interviews happening and successfully. Okay, so clinical trial, we know what is adverse drug reaction. Like in the few last few classes and many classes we discussed all this. So what is adverse drug reaction? In see in preclinical approval, in pre-approval clinical experiences, adverse drug reaction will be described as like any noxious or unintended response to a medicinal product related to any dose should be considered adverse drug reaction. You need to remember that noxious or unintended response to a medicinal product. Okay. Then regarding marketed like a medicinal product, what is the adverse drug reaction? Means a response to a drug which is noxious or unintended and which occurs at doses normally used in man for prophylaxis, diagnosis or therapy of disease or for modification of physiological functions. In these two definitions, you can say any one. If any interviewer asks you what is adverse ADR, you say that noxious or unintended response to a medicinal product related to any dose should be considered as adverse drug reaction. Okay, then what is adverse event? These are the two things you are everywhere everyone are in the fresher state, they will get confused. Adverse drug reaction and adverse event. Okay, adverse drug reaction means two things we need to mention: noxious or unintended response. Then coming to the adverse event, it should be any untoward medical occurrence in a patient or clinical investigation subject administered a pharmaceutical product. That means any untoward medical occurrence in a patient's or subject like a clinical investigation thing when they are administering a pharmaceutical product to them. Okay, any untoward medical means untoward means we are not willing to expect something from that medical product. That is we are getting. Untoward means whatever causing some effect to the particular subject. Okay, any untoward medical occurrence in a patient or clinical investigation subject. Okay, clinical investigation subject means the person who are participating voluntarily or whatever it may be, the participation in clinical trials. Okay, the administered a pharmaceutical product and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with this treatment. So one person is admitting with some getting some tablet like a paracetamol and all, he is getting nausea. Paracetamol he is receiving for fever. Okay, but he is getting nausea like vomiting. So vomiting is not having any causal relationship with the treatment because the treatment he is getting for fever, but even though he is experiencing nausea, that is adverse event because of paracetamol tablet. Okay, an example I said. An adverse event can therefore be like any unintended sign, including an abnormal laboratory findings, symptoms, or disease temporarily associated with use of medicinal product, whether or not related to the medicinal product. Okay, just this is and all no need. You can from here to here it is needed. Okay, any untoward medical occurrence in patient or clinical investigation subject to administer a pharmaceutical product which does not have necessarily any causal relationship with the treatment. Okay, then what is audit? We already discussed this class, like our audit one class on that. Audit is a systematic and independent examination of trial related activities and documents to determine whether the evaluated trial related activities were conducted and the data were recorded, analyzed, and accurately reported according to the protocol or not, sponsor standard operating procedures they are following, then GCP guidelines and the applicable regulatory requirements, all these things. Audit is like inspecting something, okay, yeah, systematic and independent examination of trial related activities and documents. Okay, audit is like examination, like inspecting something, systematic and independent examination of trial related activities along with the documents. Okay, then audit certificate, audit report, audit trial, and all. Audit certificate upon completion of audit, that particular clinical site, the audit person or like audit team will give certification for the visiting of the visiting of clinicals like a particular clinical site. Audit certificate means it is the document that certifies that an audit has taken place at investigator site, CRO, or clinical research department of a pharmaceutical company. Okay, audit certificate is nothing but it is a document of certification. Okay, audit report. So while they are attending that audit, we're conducting audit and all, after analyzing the data of investigator side, they will give some report at the end of audit, that is audit report, a written evaluation by the sponsor auditor for the result of audit. Then audit trial, see, documentation that allows reconstruction of the course of events. Audit trial means this is like a demo of auditing, like yeah, demoing of auditing in investigation investigative site. That means documentation that allows reconstruction of the course, the reconstruction of the course of events. This is about audit certificate, audit report, and audit trial. Then blinding and masking. Like already I asked like Vaishnavi yesterday, she said correct answer. What is blinding means? See, who are the participants, either participants, human subjects, voluntarily and volunteer persons, or sponsor investigator, whatever people who are involved in the clinical trials, making them unaware of the treatment assignments. And making them blinding means in the name itself it is there. Like a blinding means what? We are unable to see the things, like that. Blinding in the clinical trials means making people unaware of the treatment assignments, so that is blinding or masking. See, coming to the definition, a procedure in which one or more parties to the trial are kept unaware of the treatment assignments. Blinding, it is having different types like a single blinding, double blinding, and all. In the single blinding usually refers to the subjects being unaware. So, in the single blinding, the people who are involving in the clinical trials, that human subjects, they are keeping unaware of the things, like whatever the drug they are giving to the particular people or particular person, they will make it unaware to the particular human subject. That is single blinding. See, in the single blinding, only the human subjects are aware, unaware of the things. Okay, in double blinding usually refers to the subject, investigators, monitor, and in some cases data analyst being unaware of the treatment. Okay, so coming to the double blinding, in the double blinding, same, making unaware of the treatment assignments. Here, not only with the subjects, it may include investigator, sponsor, and in some cases data analyst as well. So you got it right. What is blinding or masking? Blinding or masking is nothing but making people unaware of the treatment assignments. In single blinding, it is only for subjects, human beings. In double blinding, it may be along with subject, yeah, human subject, like a sponsor, investigator, monitor, data analyst. They are also making unaware of the treatment assignments. That is double blinding. So case report form, that is CRF. What is this CRF? A printed optical or electronic document designed to record all of the protocol required information to be reported to the sponsor and each trial subject. CRF is a printed optical or electronic document designed to record all of the protocol required information. So CRF is like yeah, this is one of the form where we need to collect all that information according to the protocol from the patients or human subjects, and after collecting that information from the human subjects in a protocol manner, then we will submit that information to sponsor. Okay, that is case report form. Then clinical trials or clinical study. So, see, if they want anyone or else clinical research also we can say this. Clinical research, clinical trial, clinical study, you need to say this. Okay, any investigation in human subjects intended to discover or verify the clinical, pharmacological or pharmacodynamic effect of an investigational product. Investigational product means new medicament or new thing, whatever we need to know lot of information that investigational product we are doing experimental things on clinical research. Okay, new medicament or new invention, that is investigational product. So and to identify any, yeah, in this see any investigation in human subjects intended to discover or verify the clinical, pharmacological or pharmacodynamic effect of an investigational product, and to identify any adverse reactions to an investigation product, to study absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion of an investigational product with the object of ascertaining its safety or efficacy. The term clinical trial and clinical study are synonyms. Like we can say anything clinical trial or clinical study or clinical research as well. Okay, we go through with the definition. If anyone asks you, specify this thing. Okay, then clinical trial study report. This is like a CRF. See, a written description of a trial study of any therapeutic, prophylactic, or diagnostic agent conducted in human subjects, in which the clinical and statistical description, presentations, and analysis are fully integrated into a single report. This is all related clinical trial thing. They are documenting over there. That is in the clinical trial study report, like a CRF. Comparator. This is an investigational or marketed product, like or any placebo, used as a reference in a clinical trial. In the name itself, it is there. Comparator means the thing we are using to compare with other one. It may be like a placebo or investigational or marketed product and all. Then compliance. Yeah, Narsana Gowda, can you tell me this? What is compliance? You can see and you can tell, no problem. Hello.
Hello, bro.
Yeah, you can explain this. What is compliance? You can see my screen, right?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Adherence to all the trial related requirements. Hello.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Good clinical practice requirements and the applicable regulatory requirements.
That means what? You said adherence to all the trial related requirements, then GCP guidelines requirements, and then applicable regulatory requirements. That means what? Adherence means what?
Sticking
See,
to the
yeah, good, good. That is the answer. So, yes, very good. So, compliance in relation to the trial means adherence to all the trial related requirements. Whatever the requirements of the trial, we need to adherence. Adherence means we are sticking to that particular points and all. We need to follow the things. Adherence means sticking or like a following continuously. So, sticking, yeah, adherence to all the trial related requirements, good clinical practice requirements, and applicable regulatory requirements. we need to follow all these things, we need to stick on to all these things. That is called compliance. Okay. Confidentiality. So Vaishnavi, can you tell me what is this confidentiality? Guys, if I am asking you, please unmute and speak up fast, we don't have that much time. Yes, Nikhil. Okay, someone saying yes, 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 Vaishnavi, you can speak up.
Confidentiality means being kept any secrets or etc.
Okay, making some confidentiality means we need to protect the information. Okay, like we are unable, like we are not supposed to disclose to all the people. Confidentiality means if your friend is something, she said some secret to you, you need to maintain in a confidentiality manner, means you are not supposed to disclose it to all other people. That is it. Okay. Confidentiality means prevention of disclosure to other than authorized individual of a sponsor proprietary information or for subject's identity and all. In coming to the clinical trial aspect, confidentiality is maintaining, like prevention of disclosure means we are not supposed to explain all the details with other people, so we need to maintain confidentiality of the matter. Then see, prevention of disclosure to other than authorized individual of a sponsor proprietary information or subjects identity and all. So we need to maintain some confidentiality of the information during clinical trials. This HIPAA, what is HIPAA? If anyone asks you what is HIPAA means, Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act. Okay, HIPAA Act is there. We need to follow some guidelines. Are there HIPAA guidelines? When you are coming to job oriented role, then you will have some trainings and all these things. Like see, if few of people got placement from our academy, they already started trainings and they got laptops, all these things. So don't worry, you will also get good opportunities in coming days. So keep on reading all these things, be ready for interview prospective things. If you have any doubt or any concerns, let me know, we'll help you. Okay. Then yeah, if I am asking you if you are ready for interviews and all, don't say that I am not prepared, I am not attended classes. You are not attending classes means that's not my mistake, right? You need to attend CP. Few people are not attended classes, then how can we help? Even Ravindra also not attended 4 5 classes, even Gita, many people are not attending, then we can't help them in the right way, right? So follow us, like follow every class, attend regularly, then apply for that job roles, whatever the placements we are showing up for you. If you need any help from us, interview perspective, interview questions perspective, whatever that self confidence and all building things, mock interviews, we will take up it and we will help you. If you are not following us, then we can't help you in any way. Already we are planning to start new batch in next 2 weeks, so simultaneously we will tell classes as well. So yeah, 1.5 month it will take to complete all these remaining topics for you. In meanwhile, get utilize all the opportunities whatever it may be you are getting on your hand. Okay. So please try to attend. Here also few guys are there, very like Narsana Gowda, then Vaishnavi, and some people. They are very active and they are yeah, Sandhya also. They are very active. Oh, Nikhil, Ravindra. We are hoping for best for a few candidates are there. So please attend all these classes and ready with the topics and all. We don't know when we'll get opportunity, when the opportunity will knock your door. Be ready with the things. Then yeah, I think it's some months are up and already after your graduation. So I know the pain of that waiting for job and all. So make that opportunity. Utilize that whenever you are getting anything from our end. Okay, we'll help 100% from our end. If you're not utilizing, then you wish that. What is this? Yeah, confidentiality done, right? What is this contract? See, contract is a written, dated, or signed agreement between two or more involved parties that sets out any arrangements on delegation and distribution of tasks and obligations, and if appropriate, and like any financial matters and all. Contract means, see, that is the sign information, that is signed document between two individual parties regarding whatever it may be. So yeah, it is like financial matters, subject matter, or like trial activity related information, that and all. Contract means if you are joining any company and are there, you need to sign yeah, some companies are asking contract for 18 months, 1 year, 2 years, like that. So because they will train you, they will provide all that affinities from the company side, laptops, whatever it may be, facilities and all. If you are after training, if you are quitting that, then it will be huge loss for them. That's why they will ask you sign on contract like that. Okay, contract means it is like some like a supportive manner. If you have some like a confidentiality on that, this person is like working for these many years and all, like that, one signed copy. Okay, here in the clinical trials, contract is, it is like a signed agreement between two or more, like two or more individual parties involving in that clinical trials. Okay, what is CRO? What is CRO means? Can anyone tell me what is CRO?
Clinical research organization, sir.
Yeah,
Clinical
good,
research
good,
organization.
Ravindra. Good. Clinical research organization. Okay. A person or an organization. Organization means it may be commercial, academic, or any other thing, contracted by the sponsor to perform one or more of the sponsor trial related duties and functions. See, sponsor, I said sponsor is nothing but he is investing money and all these things. He is maybe like a client, we can call them as a clients and all. They are having some ideas and methodology of the clinical trial related things. They will give that activities to perform all the clinical related trial activities to one of the CROs. CRO means clinical research organization, that may be it is having functionality to perform all the trial related duties and functions. Okay, that is CRO. Then essential documents. Already we discussed these things. What are the essential documents in clinical trials and all? So essential documents which individually and collectively permit evaluation of the conduct of a study and quality of the data produced. So these essential documents are very important documents while performing clinical trials. We need to collect the data from clinical trials in every aspect in these essential documents. So essential documents are grouped into three categories. Like already we discussed those. Those are before starting of a trial, during clinical trial, and after completion or termination of a trial. These are the three stages where we have a lot of essential documents to fill up on. Okay. Then good clinical practice. This GCP, everyone knows, right? What is GCP? Good clinical practice. So a standard for the design, conduct, performance, monitoring, auditing, recording, analyzing, then reporting of a clinical trials that provides assurance that the data and reported results are credible and accurate, and that rights, integrity, compliance, all these things you need to follow. See, good clinical practice are like a guidelines with the standardization of yeah, with standards and all. Like we need to follow GCP guidelines while we are conducting clinical trials. GCP guidelines are some of the guidelines which will provide high standard quality and quantity. Yeah, high standard qualities and the collection, monitoring, reporting, analyzing, then whatever it may be, all this integrity, confidentiality, all this. So it is should be like some guidelines and all. Okay, GCP guidelines we can call them. Then IDMC. What is IDMC? Means Independent Data Monitoring Committee. Okay, Independent Data Monitoring Committee. This is like one of the audit committee. So a committee that may be established by the sponsor to assess at intervals the progress of a clinical trial. That means this is the committee which was like implemented by the sponsor or investigator. Why? Because to access the intervals in the process of clinical trial, how the clinical trial is processing, how that like how it is going on, any things happening or all these things, they will inspect the things. They will inspect progress of clinical trial, safety data, and critical efficacy endpoints, and to recommend to the sponsor whether to continue, modify, stop it clinical trial. So independent data monitoring committee, in the name itself it is there. This is the committee which will involve in data monitoring. So whatever the data we are getting from the clinical trials, the data should be monitored by the independent data monitoring committee. Then they will give suggestions to the sponsor whether to continue the trial, modify the trial, or stop a trial. If we are getting any negative impact on that, then we will stop or terminate a trial. If everything is going on a positive way, we will continue and modify or continue the trial. If we need any amendments during the trial activities protocol or whatever it may be, then we will modify the trial. This modification, continuation, stopping, all these things, the independent data monitoring committee will suggest to sponsor or investigator. Okay, then informed consent. This is like say a process by which a subject voluntarily confirms his or her willingness to participate in a particular trial after having been informed of all the aspects of trial that are related to the subject's decision to participate. Informed consent is nothing but I said like in hotels we have a menu and all like that we can choose the things. In in coming to the clinical trials, informed consent is it is having all that information related to participation, what is the trial completed treatment, then what is the duration, what is this, all these things that is having some full information related to clinical trial which will be given to subject who are involving in the particular, yeah, human subject who are participating in the clinical trials. They will get all information related, overview information related clinical trial, clinical trial thing. That is informed consent. It is informed consent, it is consisting of all that information about trial thing related to subject, human subjects involving trial. Okay, informed consent is documented by means of a written, signed and dated information like dated informed consent forms. Okay, then see this bias. What is bias? Bias is, so this is also one of the important thing, this coming to 3 slides. So if you have any doubt ask me and refer to 2 to 3 times after class. Okay, what is bias? Bias is a systematic error contained in the study design. Bias is nothing but it is one of the error, systematic error contained in the study design, conductor or interpretation of a study. Whereas extensive list of particular bias forms exist, there are 2 basic forms of bias. Okay, there are 2 basic forms of bias, that is selection bias and information bias. Selection bias occurs if study population are selected in a erroneous way that comparison groups are not comparable. Information bias occurs if measurements are different between these people. That is a bias. You just remember this, what is bias and different type of bias. Then techniques to avoid bias and all. What are the some of the techniques to avoid this systematic error during study design protocol or conducting of all the trial related things? Some of the techniques to avoid bias. 2 most important techniques are used. Those are randomization of subjects and blinding of subjects as well as investigator, that is double blinding. Monitoring of clinical trial, checking original source documents, source data verification, clinical data management, quality control and quality assurance procedures. These are the some of the techniques where we can avoid systematic errors during clinical trials. Okay. Then randomization and blinding. What is, these are the very important things we need to know as a clinical research coordinator or some whatever it may be. What is this randomization and what is this blinding? Blinding we already know this. Blinding is making like unaware of the things like a treatment, what is the treatment is going on and all these things, making unaware of the treatment assignments for a particular being. Single blinding means only the human subject he is making unaware of the things. Double blinding means those along with human subject, any sponsor, investigator, data analyst, we can keep them unaware of the things. Triple blinding means like all that people who are entire team involving in the clinical trials, we will make enough aware of the things. Those, that is triple binding and all. Okay, randomization. See, randomization, it aims to obviate systematic differences between groups due to factors other than intervention. Okay, gives each patient a known chance of being assigned to any of the groups. The most common method of randomization are simple randomization like blinding and all, blocked randomization, stratified randomization, and cluster randomization. We'll explain in okay. So this is about randomization and blinding. So see here, you can for a system like for your easy understanding, I kept this one: subject, investigator, then monitoring committee and all sponsor or related thing. In single blinding, we are making unaware of only subject, human subjects involved in clinical trial. In double blinding, we are making subject and investigator, sponsor, data analyst. And all. In triple blinding, entire every team member of the clinical trial, we are making unaware of the treatment assignments. That is triple blinding. Okay, Sandhya, you are getting the points. Like, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is this double blinding?
Subject investigator doesn't know about the treatment regimens during clinical trials, sir.
Okay, what is blinding, Latasri?
The participants doesn't unaware about the treatment regimens during clinical trials.
I asked to Latasri, I think. Okay, no problem. That is about this randomization and blinding. Okay, so that categorization of clinical trials. The next one, how we can categorize the clinical trials based upon number of participating in the centers. So single center or multiple center, national or international wide, that is based upon the participating center. We can categorize that clinical trial. Then control group, non-comparative group, historical control, concurrent controls, self-controls. Based upon the control group, we can categorize the clinical trial. They based upon the randomization. See, non-randomized, simple randomized, balanced randomized trials, cluster randomized trials, all these things. Based upon the blinding also we can differentiate and we can categorize clinical trials. See, open label or non-blinded trial. Non-blinded trial means we are not making any unaware of the things. We are making it everyone can know that what is the treatment assignment giving. That is open label or non-blinding level trial. Single blinded trial, double blinded trial, triple blinded trial, double dummy, that is placebo we are giving and all these things. Okay. Then purpose, based upon the purpose also we can differentiate the clinical trials. That is treatment trials, prevention trials, screening trials, quality of life trials, compassionate use trials, genetic trials and all. Then yeah, based upon the trial format, how can we categorize the clinical trials based upon the trial format? Traditional design for clinical trials, that is parallel group trial, crossover trial, factorial design, add-on design, randomized withdrawal design, all these are the some of the ways we can categorize the clinical trials. Special design issues for small clinical trials, that is n of 1 design, sequential design, adaptive design and all, decision analysis based design and all. So if anyone asks you how can we categorize the clinical trials, means you need to remember these things. You need to say in based upon the number of participants, control group, blinding, randomization, purpose, trial format. These are some of the sequences where we can categorize the clinical trials and all. Okay, just keep in mind all these things. This, what is this bias, techniques to avoid bias, then randomization, blinding, then categorization of clinical trials. Okay, so here you can see trial format and all. Traditional design for clinical trials, parallel group, already we heard, I said this is about parallel group design. So parallel group design, it is of two types: group comparison parallel design and matched pair parallel design. So in group comparison parallel design, in this method, efficacy of treatment is using two groups, that is treatment group and control group. Okay, those are different. See, treatment group and control group. See here you can see this is the treatment group where they are giving example like experimental drug, that is a yeah, experimental drug, that in like experimental drug. What is the other name for that? Investigational product. Okay, then another one is group like see, this is the treatment group and this is the control group. For treatment group they are giving experimental drug. For control group, they are giving placebo, dummy drug, to observe the variations between two groups, that is treatment group and control group. Okay, matched pair parallel design. In this method, pair of subjects are formed possessing the same characteristics and who might be expected to respond similarly to the treatments and all. Okay, see the treatment group and control group, most common clinical design in this way. Complete randomized design in which each patient receives one and only one treatment in a randomized fashion. So if the people is in the treatment group, they will get only experimental drug. If the people who are in the control group, they will get placebo only. So there is no mismatching of the treatment plans and all. In the entire study period, they will get the same treatment. Then whatever the data we are collecting from the treatment group and compare control group, we can evaluate the data, analyze the data, and we'll get reports at the final end of the clinical, the data validation part. Okay, cluster randomized design. This is cluster group A, group B, group 3. Cluster means some group of the people. So these are intervention A, like a cluster, class A, group B, group C, and all. So for assessment of non-therapeutic interventions such as lifestyle intervention or new educational programs for smoking cessation, all these things. Any lifestyle modification means diet habiting things, diet check, exercise, personal, like yeah, like what is the rehabilitation process of smoking, alcohol consumption, all these things, narcotic drug related one and all. Okay, randomization can be performed on intact social units, family, school, work, work sites, athletics teams, all these things. So crossover design, that is related cluster randomized design. In crossover design, what is this? See, randomization means some two group, like it is like a cluster, I said no, one group and all. In group, this is one of the group where who are participating in the clinical trial, that is a randomization part. Group A, they took some people in group A, and group B they have another 5 members in group B, 5 each. Then in group A they are giving drug A, in group B they are giving drug B. So washout period, it will be something, all these things and all. So yeah, in the final, that what is that expectation of drug A, drug B, and all these things. Okay, in in real time you will get all knowledge. Now it will be very confusing for you. Just you need to know some definitions and all these interview prospector related things and some basic knowledge on this. Okay, then placebo challenging design. Here they are giving placebo. Okay, placebo is nothing but is like a dummy drug. So yeah, phase of manipulation of dose levels of a therapeutic agent for essential patients with drug efficacy is enriched phase. What is this enriched phase means? You can read here. The patient with the drug efficacy identified at enrichment phase are randomized to receive either efficacy dose of drug or matching placebo and all. This is enriched phase. Like see, 6 people, 7 8 people are there, but they are giving this placebo and all. Then we are getting evaluation for 5 people. Then randomized phase, here also this, see, 5 people are getting this trial, yeah, that customized drug, and 5 people are getting placebo and all. Here nothing but we are giving real drug to few group, then dummy drug to few group. We need to compare the data and effectiveness of the whatever that real drug is affecting, how this dummy drug is affecting placebo thing. We need to evaluate and compare the data. That is the final thing. Okay, placebo challenging design. Titration phase, that means a lot of people are there, they need to give this and all. In clinical evaluation, double blinding placebo challenging active drug placebo. So the team is divided into 5 here. Double blinding, so means these people are unaware, placebo people don't know this about active drug and all. 3 month home treatment, after 3 months same thing they are providing for duration. Active drug they are giving for 5 people, placebo for 5 people, continuation for 3 months and all. Then yeah, in clinical evaluation, that is double blinded. So in this they are exchanging this thing. This whoever got after 3 months, whoever got this active drug, they are involving placebo in them. Whoever received placebo initially, they will get active drug. Meanwhile, they will compare the data and they will get evaluation. This thing just read upon from your end. You will get an idea of these things, what is bias, then randomization, blinding, categorization, parallel group, placebo, enrichment design, and all these things. Okay. Then what is LAR? Legally acceptable representative. An individual or judicial or other body authorized under applicable law to consent on behalf of a prospective subject to the subject. This is law means like some legal aspect, legal, yeah, like a supportive person. Impartial witness, a person who is independent of the trial, who cannot be unfairly influenced by the people involved in the trial, who attend the informed consent process if a subject or subjects earlier cannot read, and who read, like he is the same. Impartial witness means he is not completely witnessed all the process and all, he is like impartial means he knows some information, not complete information. Then institutional review board, this is also one of the committee, IEC, institutional ethical committee, IRB, institutional ethics committee. IRB is also one of the board, like institutional review board, an independent body constituted of medical, scientific or non-scientific members whose responsibility is to ensure the protection of the rights, safety and well-being of human subjects involved in the trial. Okay, among other things, reviewing, approving, providing continuing reading of trial protocol and of methods, material to be used in obtaining, documenting, all these things. So institutional, what this is about, institutional review board. Independent ethics committee, same thing, IEC. Inspection, what is inspection? This is also like auditing, we know, right? Auditing, what is this auditing? Inspection is same thing, like a checking all these things. The act by regulatory authorities of conducting an official review of the document, facilities, records and any other resource that are deemed by the authority to be related to the clinical trial and that may be located at the site of trial, at the sponsor or contact research organization facilities. Auto inspection is nothing but it is checking all the things are going in the right way or not in the clinical trial site. It may be facilities, documents, records, procedures, all these things. Whatever the things we need to get inspector means checking thoroughly. Investigator is a person responsible for the conduct of the clinical trial at a trial site. I said no sponsor. After sponsor, investigator is the head of clinical trial related things. If a trial is conducted by a team of individuals at a trial site, the investigator is the responsible leader of the team and may be called as a principal investigator. Okay. Then what is sub investigator? He is the assistant to investigator. Investigational product, this is the thing that is a new medicament or new invention we are doing practically on clinical trials. So a pharmaceutical form of an active ingredient or placebo being tested or used as a reference in clinical trial, including a product with a marketing authorization when used or assembled in a way different from approval form. So yeah, this is the investigation product means whatever that new thing we are going to invent or we are checking all that feasibility things, that is investigational product. Investigator browser, IB. Okay, a compilation of a clinical or non-clinical data on the investigational products which is related to the study of investigational product in human subjects. That is investigator browser. Then monitoring means we are checking, we are following something in from close monitoring. That means seeing all the things. See, the act of overseeing the progress of a clinical trial and of ensuring that it is conducted, recorded and reported in accordance with the protocol, standard operating procedures, GCP and applicable regulatory requirements. Monitoring means checking thoroughly the things. See, checking, overseeing the progress of a clinical trial. Monitoring report, whatever that monitoring data we are keeping in monitoring reports. A written report from the monitor to the sponsor after each site visit and or other trial related communication according to the sponsor SOPs. So whatever the observations we have observed during the site of that monitoring, those things, that data we are keeping in records, that is monitoring reports. So we are keeping the report of monitoring visits. Multi-center trial. So multi-center means in the particular trial, different clinical trials are going on the same time. So a clinical trial conducted according to a single protocol, but at more than on-site and therefore carried out by more than one investigator and all. This is multi-center trial. Preclinical study. We already know this during drug development process. Before entering to the human phase, we are that clinical study. We are going with preclinical study. Animal study we can call it is an okay. Animal studies that support phase one safety tolerance studies and most comply with good laboratory practices. Data about drug activities, drug effect in animals, help establish boundaries of safe use of drug in subsequent human testing. Because of many animals have much shorter lifespan than humans, preclinical studies can provide valuable information about a drug possible toxic effect over an animal life cycle and its offspring and all. So before entering directly that invention drug into the human beings, we are going with preclinical studies in human animals and all. We need to know many things, whatever the things happening in the animals. That the data is very helpful for like a starting of the clinical trial in human beings. That is preclinical study. Then what is protocol? Protocol is the document that describes the objectives, design, methodology, statistical considerations, organization of a trial. Okay, the protocol usually also gives the background and rationale for the trial, but this could be provided in other protocol reference documents. Throughout the ICH GCP guidelines, the term protocol refers to protocol and protocol amendments. Okay, the protocol is the standardized format that we need to follow during clinical trials. What is quality assurance and quality control? We already know this. Then randomization. See, randomization, the process of assigning trial subject to treatment or control groups using an element of chance to determine the assessment in order to reduce bias. Bias means that errors and all. You need to follow some what is we know that methods of reducing bias and all these things. Today's class I discussed. Go through with the document. Okay. Then regulatory authority. We already know this. What is the regulatory authority in the pharmacovigilance and metrology classes? Different bodies, different country-related regulatory bodies, all these things. Regulatory authority means these are the regulatory bodies having the power to regulate. In the ICH GCP guideline, the expression regulatory authority includes the authorities that review submitted clinical data and those that conduct inspections. These bodies are sometimes referred to as the competent authorities also. Okay, you know right what is this regulatory authorities or regulatory body? What is the regulatory body for India, Latasri?
Serious CO.
For UK,
European Medicine Agency.
that is for Europe, I think. UK is not that, right?
Medicinal
Health,
product
health and
regulatory agency.
MHRA.
yeah.
Okay. Then what is this serious adverse event and serious? Yeah, what is this serious adverse event?
Any untoward medical occurrence that at any dose. The result as a death is life threatening, prolonged hospitalization, disability, birth defects. If any
Yeah,
one of the above,
yes, yes.
uh,
Yeah, you know this. What is serious adverse event or serious adverse drug reaction? See, any untoward medical occurrence that at any dose. ఇక్కడ చూసే చెప్పిన వాళ్ళ నువ్వు.
no, Abhi. Already I know that.
Okay, what are that these things like seven criteria we are following? Like if you have any meeting of the things, what are the seven things about this serious adversity that then we can say that this event is serious thing. We have seven things, right? What are those things? Are you there?
Yeah, Abhi.
How you will consider an event is serious?
Prolonged hospitalization, life threatening, birth defects, medically significant. If any one of the above, in the
Only you
case
said
will be
four.
considered
Remaining three are there.
like
Disability, congenital anomaly.
disability,
That
congenital anomaly.
see, you read that things okay thoroughly. Whenever you are getting chances, if you are, then it can't help you in anymore. Like everyone, be ready with all the things because these days are happening and going continuously. If anyone are not gonna fit for interview thing, if you are having any interview thing, if you are rejected over there, then that is not good sign for our career as well. Be ready with all these things. Okay, then yeah, everyone, if I am saying I'm not ready for interview and all this, then that whatever the fees, whatever this time, everything is going to be waste, right? So what is the source documents? We already know these source documents. So original documents, data or records, either maybe the hospital records, clinical or official charts, laboratory notes, memoranda, subjects diaries, evaluation checklist, pharmacy dispensing records, like recorded data from automated instruments, copies on transcription certified, all these things, X-ray, media, magnetic files, record kept at the pharmacy, the laboratory. These all are the information. Those are the source documents where we are getting data. Okay, for clinical trial, those are the source documents. Sponsor. Who is a sponsor? An individual, company or institute or an organization which takes responsibility of the initiation, management and financing of a clinical trial. That is the sponsor. What is SOP? Standard operating procedures. These are the some of the guidelines we can say. Detailed or written instructions to achieve uniformity of the performance of a specific function. That is whatever it may be. If it is like a detailed written instructions to achieve uniformity of a performance of specific function, that is SOP. Then subject or trial subject, a individual who participate in a clinical trial. Trial subject means the human person, human volunteer who is involving in clinical trial. An individual who participates in a clinical trial either as a recipient of the investigational product or a control thing. That is subject or human, like human subjects or trial subjects we can call them. Then subject identification code, this is like a unique identifier assigned by the investigator to each trial subject to protecting that information like Aadhaar card and all. Then trial site, the location where trial related activities are actually conducted. Then unexpected ADR, then vulnerable subjects. These are the today's class. Okay, this thing unexpected ADR means whatever that an adverse reaction, the nature of the severity which is not consistent with the applicable product information. It is not that unexpected, in the name itself it is there, unexpected ADR. They're not expecting the particular thing. Vulnerable subject, individuals who willingness to voluntarily in clinical trial. Vulnerable means who people who are involving in the clinical trials voluntarily. This is about all today's class. I think time is completed. Yeah, these ADR, audit, blinding things, all these contract, CRO, BIAS, randomization, all these things we discussed. Please go through with the document and complete everything. Saturday, Sunday, you take revision of all these things. We are taking mock interviews on Monday. Like, yeah, along with questionnaires and all. Be ready for interview prospective things. Okay. Hold on.